evening. It's just past 6 o'clock. It's Saturday the 22nd of February and welcome to our evening news programme. And in the news this week, extra no waiting restrictions are being proposed for part of the A354, Portland Road and Merley Road, together with 3 new pedestrian crossings in Wyke, Regis. Dorset Council say the no waiting at any time restrictions are needed to improve pedestrian safety. WL lines are being requested on the eastern side of Portland Road from outside 127 to 149, with similar restrictions on the northern side of Merley Road extending around the corner into Stoke Road, with a shorter length of restrictions on the opposite side extending the length of number 143 and its grounds. The no waiting orders are part of a general traffic pedestrian improvement scheme for the area, which includes 2 new Puffin and a toucan crossing at the crossroads on the Portland Road and the junctions with Langton Avenue and Merley Road. Public comments on the proposals are being invited and can be made to Dorset Council up to March the 7th. Comments for and against, together with the reasons for why they are made, should be sent through to Dorset Council's website or in writing to the Traffic Regulation Team, Dorset Council, Collerton Park, Dorchester, DT1 1XJ. Residents with any technical questions can contact the Highways Improvements Team on 01305 221 000 or email highwayimprovements@dorsetcouncil.gov.uk. The Knowth Fort has been awarded a grant of almost £1.4 million. The money is coming from the Arts Council England's Museum Estate and Development Fund, or MEND for short, and an additional £15,000 is coming from Dorset Council's Capital Leverage Fund. The Victorian-era coastal fort overlooking Weymouth Bay has been developed into an award-winning tourist attraction. The fort's collections, displays and the building itself all sustained damage, however, due to damp issues and rainwater penetration through its roofs and walls. The grant of £1,374,763 will pay for works to stop the most significant water ingress, supporting the fort's conservation and enabling development of the museum experience for visitors. James Farquhar-Harson, who's the chairman of Knowth Fort, said, "Our country has a wealth of heritage sites that the public enjoy visiting and want to see conserved for future generations. With its MEND scheme, the Arts Council England is delivering resources where it's going to make the most impact on those goals. The grant that we've been awarded will make us better heritage attraction and ensure the Knowth Fort has a longer future ahead of its roof areas to protect the building and the collection." With the inside areas far less damp, the fort's team will be able to develop new displays, exhibition space and facilities, safe in the knowledge that the work will last the test of time. Owned by Dorset Council and operated by Weymouth Civic Society, the Knowth Fort was saved from dereliction in 1980 to become Weymouth's most popular and best-loved tourist attraction. Winner of Visit England's Gold Award for Small Visitor Attraction in 2022 and 2024, the fort's visitor figures passed over 100,000 people last year for the first time. So good luck to them and congratulations on that award. And let's hope it makes a real difference to the Knowth Fort. Now, the annual wreath-laying ceremony at the grave of James Hammett, the only Tolpuddle martyr buried in the county, took place last week. Chair of Dorset Council, Councillor Stella Jones, and High Sheriff for Dorset, Mr Anthony Woodhouse, paid their respects with floral tributes at St John the Evangelist churchyard. The iconic chapel is pivotal to the martyrs' understanding of social injustice. Built in 1818, the old chapel is a Grade 2 star listed building and a rare example of an early 19th century earthen vernacular Wesleyan Methodist chapel. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Some of the men who later became known as the Tolpuddle Martyrs constructed this chapel. The chapel's modest architectural features reflect the social history of the labouring people through the ages. It marks the origin of one of the most extraordinary social protests and parliamentary contentions in British history. From this small dot on the Dorset landscape, a massive controversy erupted over the rights of the labouring poor and their claims for just wages, religious independence and legal protection. The Tolpuddle Old Chapel Trust, formed in 2014, aims to preserve the martyr's legacy by renovating the chapel. With generous support from Dorset Council, the National Heritage Lottery Fund, Historic England and 11 charitable funding bodies, the renovation and extension was completed on the 1st of September 2023. Today, Tolpuddle Old Chapel stands as a local and national asset, offering a rich programme of heritage-related activities that serve both local needs and visitor interests. Now, Dorset Museum and Art Gallery has the opportunity to acquire a silver whistle dated around 1500 to 1700, likely to be used by a bosun or a falconer. The item was found in Wootton Fitzpaine and is currently going through the treasure process. The object has been valued at £500, with £250 having already been raised with thanks to the V&A Purchase Fund. That's the Victoria and Albert Purchase Fund. The museum is now looking to raise the remaining £250, with all funds going towards acquisition, conservation and display. The item is a complete example of a hawking whistle or bosun's whistle. Other names for these things are called bosun's call, pipe or bosun's whistle. Measuring just 65.5 millimetres in length, at one end you can see an oval sounding chamber which comprises two deep hemispheres with flanged edges which have been soldered together with a rigid girth band over the join. There is a large circular sounding hole in the top. Whistles like this one were often worn as jewellery sewn into the owner's garments. In maritime context, whistles were practical instruments used to give commands and convey messages to crew members during sailing manoeuvres and emergencies. In hawking or falconry, whistles were used by the falconer to communicate with the bird and control them in flight. Now, whistles of this kind from the medieval and Tudor period are very rare, and at this time the type of object is not well represented in the Dorset Museum and Art Gallery collection. Now, if you'd like to contribute to this appeal, you can donate at cafdonate.cafonline.org/27831, or you can send a cheque payable to Dorset Natural History and Archaeological Society to the museum. Donors should use the reference hawking whistle when making a donation. For further information about this, you can go to the Dorset Museum website at dorsetmuseum.org/medieval-silver-whistle. So that's dorsetmuseum.org/medieval-silver-whistle. There is now more help than ever for Dorset residents to get online, with 50 volunteer digital champions working across the county. The newest champions for Shaftesbury, excuse me, Chris Robinson and Lorena Sutherland now mean Dorset Council has recruited its largest number of active digital champions. From Shaftesbury to Portland and from Ferndown to Lyme Regis, the council has volunteered digital champions covering most corners of Dorset. They hold face-to-face sessions in libraries and community centres for anyone who has a technical problem or needs help with a digital device or getting online. As well as Chris and Lorena, there are 48 other volunteer digital champions who are dedicated, friendly and patient. They can help with a whole range of digital issues, such as setting up a new device, online shopping and banking, using apps, accessing public services and how to save money and stay safe online. People can find out where their nearest digital champion session is by calling the council's digital hotline on 01305 221 048. That's 01305 221 048. And now, staying with things digital, a new online tool has been launched to provide Dorset Council residents with a clearer idea of how long they may need to wait for a social housing property. The Social Housing Wait Time Calculator has been designed to give people an idea of the length of time they may be waiting to secure a social housing property in a particular area based on current housing data, all at the click of a button. Housing remains in high demand across a largely rural area, with over 6,000 people currently on the housing register. Like many local authorities, the demand for housing in Dorset outweighs the supply. And although the council are offering homes to nearly 900 households last year, with an average of 73 per month, the wait for a home can be a lengthy one. The council has worked with residents, councillors and frontline officers to test the tool, which can be found on the housing section of the Dorset Council website. And it's quite easy to find. It's dorsetcouncil.gov.uk/housing-wait-times. Or if you just go to Google and search for Dorset Council housing wait times, you will get to the website and you just put a few bits of basic information in and it tells you what the likely wait for social housing is. Now, Cabinet Lead for Housing and Health, Councillor Jill Taylor, said, "We have developed this basic calculator to give people an idea of what housing is available in parishes across the Dorset Council area in just a few clicks, which can be accessed at any time of the day or night. Hopefully the website will help residents to understand how long it can take to be allocated a social housing property in their desired area, allowing them to make choices about their housing options. The website is in addition to the service provided by the council's housing officers, who can discuss individual cases and queries about the housing register. And you can get in touch with the housing officers on 01305 221 000. That's 01305 221 000. And a quick look at the housing calculator earlier today showed that in different parts of Dorset, the waiting time is different. And I think some of the worst cases were 6 years, down to some areas where there's only 5 or 6 months wait. So it is worth looking at the area you're interested in, but then going down through the list and seeing if there's an area not too far away where that wait may be far less. Monday the 24th of February marks the 3rd anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and obviously we're hearing lots about this in the news at the moment. Since Vladimir Putin's forces began the war in 2022, millions have fled the country, with over 1,000 Ukrainians now living in Dorset. Dorset Council will be flying the Ukrainian flag out to County Hall in Dorset to show our continued support and solidarity. For many of the refugees, the challenges they face on arriving in the UK have shifted from immediate need for accommodation, navigating the benefit systems, to more long-term solutions such as stable employment and self-employment, pursuing training and qualifications, as well as more permanent housing options. Layla, a refugee in Dorset, left Ukraine as the war progressed and it became too dangerous to stay. She says, "When I first arrived in the UK, I lived with a sponsor as part of a family. I later managed to secure a private rented accommodation in Dorset, which I love. I was a teacher in Ukraine, but I initially struggled to find suitable employment in Dorset, but eventually found a job I am passionate about. With training and support from my employer, my English has improved, and I've even started learning other languages. I plan to apply for the Ukraine Permission Extension Scheme and hope for a visa extension to continue my employment. Of course, I miss my family and friends back home, but thankfully I've found some friends in a local church group that has given me invaluable support and motivation." Dorset Council's Ukraine response team are there for both hosts and refugees, ensuring the transition is as smooth as possible for all concerned. If you're interested in hosting somebody from Ukraine, please register your interest or find out more on the Dorset Council website, or drop an email to the team at County Hall, ukraineresponse@dorsetcouncil.gov.uk. That's ukraineresponse@dorsetcouncil.gov.uk, or give them a call on 01305 221 000. Now, this week's appeals from Dorset Police. Officers from Dorset Police are appealing for anyone with information to come forward after a member of staff was assaulted outside a shop in Weymouth. At around 10:30 a.m. on Thursday the 30th of January, a man entered Food Warehouse in Jubilee Close and left the shop without paying for some items. The suspect was challenged by a member of staff, but he continued to walk away out of the shop. The staff member followed the man outside, and when they were between Matalan and Tapi carpets and floors, the offender punched the victim in the face. The suspect is described as a white man wearing a beige or light brown hat with headphones over the top, a blue coat, and was carrying a black rucksack. Police officers are also appealing for witnesses or anyone with information to come forward, including relevant dashcam footage, following a serious injury road traffic collision in Weymouth. Dorset Police received a report at 11:30 a.m. on Monday the 10th of February of a road traffic collision involving a Ford Cougar and a pedestrian on East Street in Chickerell. Officers attended alongside the ambulance service, and the pedestrian, a man aged in his 80s, was taken to hospital with injuries reported to be serious but not life-threatening. Police Constable Georgia Heddich of Dorset Police said, "We are carrying out inquiries into this collision to establish the full circumstances, and I would urge any witnesses who have not already spoken to the police to please make contact with us. I understand a bus was passing by at the time, so there may have been passengers on board who saw what happened." And the last item for Dorset Police this week. Detectives are appealing for witnesses or anyone with information to come forward following a report that 2 people were assaulted in Weymouth. Dorset Police received a report around 1 a.m. on Saturday the 15th of February of a disturbance in St Edmund Street involving a group of people. An 18-year-old man was reportedly assaulted and sustained a fractured skull. A 19-year-old man has also sustained facial injuries but did not require immediate medical treatment. Officers attended, and following detailed inquiries, a 21-year-old man and 5 male teenagers aged between 14 and 18 were arrested on suspicion of inflicting grievous bodily harm with intent. They have all been released on police bail as investigations continue. Detective Constable Mia Isabel Bowditch of Dorset County CID said, "We are continuing to carry out inquiries into this incident, and I would urge anyone with information that might assist our investigations to please get in touch with us." And as ever, to get in touch with Dorset Police about these 3 incidents or any other incidents you are aware of, you can give them a call on 101, that's the non-emergency number, or if you wish to give information anonymously, you can do this through the Crime Stoppers charity on 0800 555 111. Now, thanks to a partnership between Weymouth Town Council and Dorset Council, event organisers in Weymouth are being invited to apply for free parking in 2025 to support their event. This year, 4 dates are available for local organisations to use selected Dorset Council-operated car parks in Weymouth free of charge for events that will encourage both residents and visitors to enjoy a day out in the town. An online survey is now open for local Weymouth-based charities and organisations to request which car parks they would like to use for free. The survey runs until 12 p.m. on Monday the 3rd of March. And alternatively, you can email Weymouth Town Council at events@weymouthtowncouncil.gov.uk to request a form. The survey will be available through the Weymouth Town Council website at weymouthtowncouncil.gov.uk. Once those forms are in, applications will be considered by Weymouth Town Council's Environment and Services Committee later in March before the successful organisations are announced. Now, a large-scale training exercise took place at Poole Port to test the response of emergency services to a major terrorism incident. The exercise took place on Thursday the 30th of January and Friday the 31st of January and involved Dorset Police, Dorset and Wilts Fire and Rescue, South Western Ambulance Service, Hampshire and Isle of Wight Fire and Rescue Service and Devon and Somerset Fire and Rescue Service, supported by voluntary agencies and educational establishments. The exercise was not in relation to any specific threat and was carried out to test and enhance the skills of first responders and communications between them when managing a major incident. The events began with a virtual exercise, testing the response of the Force Command Centre, transitioning into a live exercise with Poole Port allowing all agencies to exercise their emergency plans and joint working. Superintendent Stu Pittman of Dorset Police said extensive planning was put into this exercise involving colleagues from all agencies, and I want to recognise the hard work that enabled this to be a really valuable learning tool for everyone involved. A major incident is often extremely fast-paced and complex, and thankfully not something we regularly experience in Dorset. So replicating an incident of this scale provides an incredibly invaluable opportunity for everyone to take their plans and test them in a real-life scenario. Now, films will once again be shown on the big screen in Weymouth, less than 2 months after the town's cinema closed. A mixture of classic films and new releases will be shown at Weymouth Pavilion after a big screen was installed. The theatre screened its first film this week, and lots of other films are planned, and we'll mention those when we get to our events guide, which was voted on by Weymouth residents. And it was the classic 80s movie Dirty Dancing, starring Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey. Movie tickets for all the movies at Weymouth Pavilion are to be £5. The Pavilion plan to showcase both beloved classics and the latest releases, promising an exciting cinematic experience for moviegoers. In preparation for the new film screening, the venue has installed a massive 11-metre screen in the auditorium. And if you want to keep up to date with Weymouth Pavilion screenings, pop along to either their website or their Facebook page, basically facebook.com/Weymouth Pavilion. And that's the end of our headlines tonight. It's now time in tonight's programme to go over to Andrew Wright for this week's film review and preview.
Welcome to Wyke Regis TV film review and preview. I'm Andrew Wright. This week, Paddington in Peru arrived on home video in the UK in sort of conjunction with the US cinema release last weekend, because it opened last weekend. It opened alongside Captain America, but it only just came out this week in the UK on home video. This is the third film in the Paddington in Peru is the third film in the Paddington franchise, and stars Hugh Bonneville, Emily Mortimer, Olivia Colman, Antonio Banderas, and Ben Whishaw. The film revolves around the Brown family travelling to the home for retired bears in Peru, when Paddington's Aunt Lucy goes missing, which leads the Brown family to venture into the Amazon rainforest looking for the mythical city El Dorado. So, I watched the film for the first time this week. I actually hadn't seen any of the Paddington films until this year. Yeah, so I actually really liked the first Paddington. I thought the second Paddington wasn't as great as everyone says it was. It was still good, and so this one, Paddington in Peru, I thought the film finds the right balance of serious and silly and manages to inject more character and world development into Paddington, and manages to be just as much fun as the previous two installments. So I gave the film 4 stars out of 5. Paddington 4 is in cinemas in 2027. Also releasing in cinemas this weekend, the big release is the comedy horror film The Monkey, from Longlegs director Osgood Perkins, if you remember from, I can't remember when, October-ish. If you remember my review from around about October, I really liked Longlegs. So The Monkey is an adaptation of the 1980 short story by Stephen King. The film stars Theo James and Tatiana Maslany, and revolves around twin brothers who find a vintage toy monkey, but find themselves surrounded by horrifying and inexplicable deaths over the years. The film has received 84% positive reviews from critics, who praise Osgood Perkins for making a fiendishly clever film with very gory set pieces that have, to some degree, a sense of humour. And The Monkey is it's famously changed the toy monkey, because it's supposed to be like a monkey with cymbals, but they can't do that because of Toy Story, because Toy Story have the rights to do a monkey with cymbals, so they had to change it to a monkey with a snare drum. The Monkey is in cinemas now. That's all I have for this week, but be sure to check back next week, where I will be previewing The Last Showgirl, for which Jamie Lee Curtis was nominated for a BAFTA. Now back to Gary in the studio.
Thank you very much, Andrew, and we'll look back to Andrew next week to see what he has in store for us. It's now time in the programme to go to the Met Office for the Saturday evening weather forecast, and this week we are joined by Greg Dewhurst.
Hello again, welcome to your latest Met Office forecast. It's turning much more unsettled over the next 24 hours. We've had a brief ridge of high pressure across the UK today, giving some spells of sunshine, a few showers, but this deep area of low pressure will sit to the northwest through Sunday and into Monday, giving heavy rain to many parts, some strong winds as well, gales, if not severe gales, around some northern and western parts of the UK. So there could be some disruption as we go through Sunday, particularly the afternoon and evening time, from heavy rainfall building up, leading to some localised flooding as well as some strong winds. However, it's a quiet end to Saturday. However, as we go into the early hours, some low cloud mist and murk developing in places. Clearer skies holding on to the east, whilst the west turns wetter as we head towards the end of the night. The winds start to pick up as well. We could see gusts of 30-40 miles an hour or so, with outbreaks of heavy rain moving in here. So temperatures lifting through the night, 7 or 8 degrees to start Sunday morning. Still chilly across some eastern parts, where there'll be some bright spells to start the morning on Sunday, but the wet and windy weather soon spreading its way eastwards across the whole of Northern Ireland, Scotland into Northern England, parts of Wales and the West Country as we move through the morning. Best of the dry weather holding on across southeast England until later on in the day. As you can see by the bright colours, some heavy rain is expected, so there are some Met Office rainfall warnings out for the higher ground of western parts of the UK in particular, even southeast Scotland, and then strong winds across many northern and western parts. We could see wind gusts of 60-70 miles an hour in exposed locations, generally more widely across the UK, gusts around 35 to 45 miles an hour. So there could be some local disruption. Bright skies following for Northern Ireland, northwest Scotland, but blustery showers moving in here. Temperatures still above average with that southwesterly wind, but feeling chillier than the numbers suggest due to the strength of that wind. So temperatures are in the range of 8 to 12 Celsius. A wet afternoon, evening to come across England and Wales. Some localised flooding is possible. Southern parts of Wales into southwest England, a watch point into the evening time and early hours, but generally becoming a little drier overnight into Monday morning, with blustery showers moving in, still staying on the windy side for many. Temperatures holding up due to that wind and the cloud cover, generally around where they should be for the daytime during this time of year. So Monday itself, some outbreaks of rain still across southern counties of England into southeast England through the morning, but it should eventually clear, and then it's a brighter day, sunny spells and scattered showers across the country. Some of them will be heavy at times. The odd rumble of thunder is possible, but there'll be plenty of dry weather too. Sunny spells, showers most frequent across central northern parts of Scotland. They could start turning a little wintry over the higher ground later, where some cooler air is starting to feed in, but for most still mild, 11, 12, 13 degrees. For the afternoon temperatures. It stays unsettled for the week ahead. Sunny spells, showers, some longer spells of rain possible. Temperatures gradually coming down to nearer to average for the time of year, with some chillier nights to come. If you'd like more information on that and the forecast for the next 24 hours, where we do have warnings in force, visit our website and our social media channels. See you soon.
Thank you very much, Greg, for the Saturday evening weather forecast. And just looking at the week ahead, still keeping mild. Obviously, Sunday could be quite wet, as we've just heard, but getting drier during the week and reasonably mild. Sunny spells, and we've had a few sunny spells today that's been quite nice as well. So hopefully, once we get the weather out the way tomorrow, we will have some nice bits of weather for the week ahead. Now, turning to our What's On, what have we got coming up? Well, let's turn to Weymouth Pavilion first. 23rd of February, Ronnie Scott's Jazz Club. Then we've got a couple of films for you. 25th of February, Oppenheimer, and 26th of February, Conclave. That's the one that's just been in the Film Awards. So they are doing bang up-to-date films, as well as some of the more ones that have been around for some time, have been very popular in history. 28th of February, Country Roads, one night of country classics. 1st of March, Alistair McGowan and Jasper Carrott, two comedians there, live on stage. 2nd of March, Rock Orchestra by Candlelight, that sounds interesting. 9th of March, Anton Dubek at the Musicals. Obviously, Anton Dubek of Strictly Come Dancing fame there on his tour, and some singing and dancing going on there. So more information on those and other shows and films at Weymouth Pavilion via their website, weymouthpavilion.com, or tickets can be purchased from their box office on 01305 783 225. Now looking to the Nothe Fort. On this weekend and running again tomorrow's been on today, World War II week. It's been running all this week, half-term week, runs through till tomorrow, 10:30 to 4 p.m. Learn about Weymouth in World War II and travel back in time to the World War II era. Lots of activities and things going on there tomorrow. Then we've got Science Weekend, the Saturday the 8th and Sunday the 9th of March. Help celebrate British Science Week, as the Nothe Fort is hosting a fun and immersive science weekend full of activities. That's the 8th and 9th of March. Then we've got Victorian Children's Weekend, the 22nd and 23rd of March. Again, going back in time, this time to the Victorian era. Always very, very popular there at the Nothe Fort, those Victorian weekends. And also on Saturday the 22nd of March, they've got their Hidden Secrets of the Cold War Bunker, where they open up the Cold War bunker and do special tours of that and learn about the things that were in place during the Cold War, when the bunker right underneath the Nothe Fort there was a very important local resource for the local authority in if things got bad and nuclear bombs were dropped and etc. So do look at those and more activities coming up on the Nothe Fort website, nothefort.org.uk. They've obviously got stuff going through the rest of the summer period as well. Bit too early for us to share those with you, but if you're planning ahead, that is already on the Nothe Fort website. Now looking to Arts Reach, 27th of February, Music for Cows at Shipton Gorge. 8th of March, The Ghost of a Smile at Powerstock Hut. 19th of March, Pot Liquor at Royal Manor Theatre on Portland. 22nd of March, the Bookshop Band at Burton Bradstock Village Hall. Those are just some of the ones in sort of South and West Dorset near us. But there are lots and lots of Arts Reach events, shows and workshops throughout Dorset. And you can find out more and see some sort of videos and examples of stuff on their website and book tickets at artsreach.co.uk. Now, if you enjoy local talks of interest, if you want to find out more about the history of the Court Elite on Portland, there's a talk on Thursday the 27th of February at 2:30 p.m. at the C2000 Hall at the Straits, Eastern Portland. The talk's going to be given by Jerry Hind, who is the Crown local agent and bailiff for Portland. Tickets are £3 for Friends of Portland Museum members. They're £2 for Friends of Portland Museum members and £3 for everyone else. So £2 for Friends of Portland Museum members and £3 for everyone else. And more information and tickets are available by emailing the museum, portlandmuseum@gmail.com. portlandmuseum@gmail.com. That's on Thursday the 27th of February. That's this coming Thursday at 2:30. And finally this week, church services tomorrow. 8 o'clock communion at All Saints Wyke, 9:30 communion at All Saints Wyke, and 11 o'clock at St Edmund's Lane House. Well, that's all we've got for you this week, other than to say that our regular Saturday night quiz is on at 7:30. That is free, it's family friendly and available to anyone in the community of Wyke, Regis, South Dorset and beyond. All are welcome to join us. You will always have a nice quiz evening on a Saturday there if you want to join us at any time. If you've got any news for us, any events coming up that you want to share with the community in Wyke, Weymouth and Portland, South Dorset or beyond, then do drop us a line, news@wykeregis.tv. We would love to hear from you and we'll be happy to share that with people in a future programme. It just remains for me to say have a good weekend. Be careful of that rain tomorrow, but hopefully the week ahead will be good. If you're returning to school on Monday, make sure you have got everything ready and hopefully you've had a good week off and we'll be ready to get back into the thrust of getting to school every day from Monday morning. Have a good weekend. I look forward to being back with you 6 o'clock next Saturday. Good night.